With The Haunting of Hill House, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and Apostle all dropping on Netflix over the past few weeks, you may have missed one of the most original movies they've ever picked up. That movie is Cam. As you might have guessed, the movie is about a cam girl named Alice who goes under the alias of Lola when she's streaming. She has an insane amount of ambition and she's doing her best to climb her way up the top streamers list on one of those nondescript websites you've never clicked on when it pops up in your browser out of sheer curiosity. And she's actually doing it too, which is awesome to see. That is until the day she wakes up and realizes that her password's been changed and she can't get her account back. Things get even weirder and creepier when she realizes that someone is still streaming from her account, but it's a different Lola that looks, sounds, and acts exactly like her, but way more extreme. On top of that awesome premise, Cam was written by a former cam girl named Issa Mazay, so that basically means it's as authentic as it gets. She pulled from her actual real life experiences, not only for the positive aspects of the movie, but also for the negative ones. She goes out of her way to not only paint sex workers in a positive light, but also the people who are watching these streams. They're just normal people who are supporting these streamers, and I feel like that's a perspective we would only get from a former cam girl. According to Mazay and the director Daniel Goldhaber, they would send out this script to a bunch of different agencies trying to cast people in this movie, and they would either hear that the actresses had passed or they wouldn't hear back at all. But curiously, they would see these actresses at parties later on and they would say they never saw the script in the first place. Now, I could understand why someone would pass on this movie because of the weird and kind of obscure subject matter, but I don't think it was fair to never show these scripts to the actresses to begin with. I think it worked out in the filmmaker's favor though, because I cannot imagine anyone except Madeline Brewer in the part of the main character. Everything about Alice's streaming persona, Lola, is meticulously crafted by her to draw people in. Her streaming room is washed in deep pinks and turquoises, and it's decorated with soft, inviting furniture and carpeting. And when she does venture out into the real world, the filmmakers make sure it looks boring and mundane by comparison. And on top of her perfectly detailed streaming space, Alice smartly sets herself apart from her competition by killing herself on stream with awesomely detailed prosthetic effects. Another cool layer here is that Alice interacts with her family throughout the film, but ironically, it almost feels like that's more of her job than actually being a cam girl. Whenever she goes to see her mom, it's at the hair salon she owns and operates so she can get her hair and nails done. And when she talks to her brother, it's always about reaching higher on the top 50 list of top streamers. She also is always reaching out to other streamers trying to get a collaboration going. It feels like it's out of necessity though that her real life kind of has to become her job or chore list that she has to check things off of, because being a cam girl is a 24/7 job for her. She's always coming up with new ideas on what she can do next. She's trying to ratchet up the insanity so that people don't get bored. She's keeping this meticulously detailed calendar, seeing her milestones and how long it takes to hit each one. It is really a 24/7 job for her, and I appreciated that. But there is one layer here that I feel like was very smart to include, and that's that she let the line blur between Alice and Lola. They've become the same person. That's actually the biggest problem I had with Cam though. It has this mystery at the heart of it through the entire movie, but it never explains it. I wanted to know how they were able to create this digital fake version of Lola that was able to so easily take over her entire identity. That was insane to me, and again, the movie never explains it. It keeps things open and ambiguous in favor of driving home its message more. And to be fair, the scene where Alice takes her identity back by smashing her nose on her desk, tricking the Lola impersonator, is powerful and it is awesome. But there is a real world explanation for all this that I feel like could have easily been integrated into the movie. In fact, it was actually hinted at. If you were online in the fall of 2017, you probably saw the word deepfake floating around the internet. And put simply, a deepfake is a super advanced artificial intelligence system that can merge images and videos to create extremely realistic, albeit fake renditions of real people. It's easy to see how a deepfake could be extremely dangerous, but of course the only reason people cared about them was because they were being used to create porn. People were creating porn of celebrities using this deepfake technology. You'd think making something like that would be really hard, but of course there's an app called Fake App that's very easy to download and install so you can make deepfakes of your own. The movie never really comes out and says it, but the imposter Lola is definitely a deepfake. They also do hint at the fact that a company is behind it, so it's easy to kind of piece together what exactly is happening here. The company in question is sitting on these cam girl sites and finding cam girls who are pushing the envelope, doing things different, and rising up the ranks. They then collect as much data on their voice, their video, their images as they can, and then they use that to get their password and lock them out of their account. And the difference is they have these deepfakes that are infinitely usable. They don't get sick, they never take a day off, they never get depressed or experience burnout, they never get creeped out, and of course they don't age. So all of this is done by the company to make money. They'll do anything these guys are willing to pay for because they're not real people, but it is always at the expense of the real people they've been created in the image of. It's kind of ingenious, and I wish the movie would have gone into that deeper. I would guess that the reason Alice never really figures out what's going on is because the movie was made on an extremely small budget, and it would have been tough to do that inexpensively. I do like the ending too, in the way that Alice takes her identity back and realizes that she's the creative fountain in all these streams, and it doesn't matter what persona she has, as long as she realizes that she's Alice and the streaming is a persona, she'll be able to keep going forward as a cam girl. I really appreciated that, but I do think the movie would have been way scarier if they went down the avenue I just suggested. Obviously though, if you're still watching at this point, you're already thinking about how someone could create a deepfake of you and ruin your life. And you're also coming away from Cam, because you've probably already seen it, with a very positive interpretation of sex workers and maybe even a newfound respect. I've been thinking about this movie ever since I saw it in Telluride, Colorado at the beginning of October, and I gotta be honest with you guys, on first watch I didn't really like it. It turns out all I had to do was dig into the themes a little more, figure out why it was made and why certain plot points were included to really appreciate it for what it is, a total success. And that is Cam Explained. I hope you liked the video, and I hope if you've watched this far you've already seen the movie, because, well, I just spoiled the entire thing, and for that I apologize if you have not seen the movie. I also would really appreciate it if you're a new viewer, if you would subscribe and hit the bell button, because that is the subscribe button now, which is really bizarre, but we don't need to get into that now. I'd also really appreciate it if you checked out the links in my description to my Twitter, Instagram, and my podcast Fear Frequency. But anyways guys, my name is Jimmy Champane, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.